As many of you know, I used to use the Canon 80D. Now this is a really good camera because it does a lot of things, as I previously stated in my Canon 80D in 2021 video. But this is a follow-up video to that, so I'm going to talk about 8 things I hate about the Canon 80D. So number 1 is 30-minute recording limit. Why is there a recording limit on a camera with no overheating issues? You should be able to record like as long as you want, as long as the battery and the SD card keeps going. You should be able to record as long as you want. Well, I don't know why is there a 30-minute thing on this Canon? Come on, man. But yeah, in all seriousness, this thing has a 59 second record limit, which is really annoying because like if you're actually shooting something that's more than 30 minutes long, you've actually got to stop recording, or it will stop by itself, and then you press record again and then continue. It is not the biggest thing if you can tell the subject to stop talking or whatever. But if you're shooting something that's like, you know, you can't just say like, hey, can you pause this football game, or can you do this, can you do that? If you can't do that, that's gonna be an issue. So 30-minute recording limit is a pain in the butt in this camera, especially for me, because I do a lot of longer recordings. No 4K, so that was a really downside to this. Not even extra cropped 4K. You'd think in like a camera like this, when it first came out, it would have 4K, but no. Canon decided to go 1080p 60 FPS, which by the way is really good looking, so that's not an issue. But the 4K, there's no 4K in this. So like you're looking at newer cameras now, like the 200D Mark II, I think it was, that literally has 4K. Even though it's like dodgy, at least it has an option to do 4K. Like I know this has got a crop sensor. Also, it's probably giving you guys anxiety how I'm holding this camera. As a Sony user, this thing has a very loud shutter. If you're shooting weddings or something that's a bit quieter and you need to be more low profile, this is not your guy. This is a very loud click. Yeah, so if you're shooting like on set of a movie set, or in like a service of some kind, and you're just like in the corner going clack 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 clack, it's like, all right, just get a Sony. Just get a Sony. At this price range, you're probably better off getting like an A6400 or something. It has a quieter mode, but it's not quiet. So yeah, if you need to be quiet and low profile, this is probably going to set you back on that side. Speaking of weddings, this only has 1 card slot. So I would have assumed that this would have more than 1 card slot. I only got 1 card slot. So I guess for beginners and intermediate, it's not a huge deal breaker. Like if you're going to be shooting weddings and you're going to be learning and stuff. But as someone who's kind of stepping into the pro kind of area, having dual SD cards is so good, especially for weddings and events you can't get back. Because if you shoot a job, you know, you've got all these like really cool videos and photos you've taken, you're like, yes, I can't wait to go home and check all this out. You get home, your SD card corrupts, that's it, that's all they're gone. And then, you know, your client gets angry at you because you've lost your footage. Yeah, 1 SD card slot is a big bummer on this camera, as it is a semi-pro camera, so I would have liked to see 2, but again, it is a semi-pro, so like, most people aren't really going to care about that. This is more like an enthusiast camera, I guess. I'm not really sure about that, but for me, personally, my opinion, this needs 2 card slots, especially for the price of when I got it. High ISO is an issue with this camera. So because of the 24 megapixel crop sensor, low light performance is not the best. Canon's never really been known for the really good low light performance. So yeah, this is no exception. I have pushed this thing around 3200 ISO, shooting bands, and it does the job. Like it's usable, but like I'd rather go a little bit lower than that, because it does get pretty noisy. You can denoise photos, but video, nah, you need to get like, you need to shoot 100 ISO on that baby. I wouldn't push anything past 800 for sure. But yeah, you can use it, but not for me. Personally, in my opinion, I don't like using this camera for low light situations. I would have really liked to see a zebra for exposure, because like I shoot on the Sony a7 III now. That having a zebra just to show me my peaks and the highlights and stuff, so useful. This thing doesn't have it. I really wish this had it, because the amount of times I've shot something that's super overexposed and I didn't look at the histogram. So you've got dual pixel autofocus, which is absolutely amazing. I've always loved the dual pixel autofocus on this. But there's also a thing called subject tracking, which around 70% of the time is super great, but for some reason it just easily gets randomly distracted. Like if I'm filming someone's face, and then I don't know, for some reason there might be like a face-like figure behind me. Like there's not an actual face, but the camera thinks there is, and it locks on them instead. So it gets quite easily distracted quite quickly. So if you're not very good at manual focusing, or using, you know, the touch thing to pinpoint for autofocus, just you're completely relying on that auto tracking, I would be very careful because this thing is not super, it's great, it's reliable most of the time, but yeah, I wouldn't 100% rely on this. So just keep that in mind. So there's my quick video. They're not huge deal breakers. If you can get your head around, you know, what doesn't work on this camera and you're still keen to buy it, I definitely would. I do suggest it's a good camera. Because I did make a video on it and I still stand by everything in that video. So yeah, if I've missed anything, if you guys have something you want to explain in the comments of what you hate about this camera, let me know. I'm always open to new things for future videos. If this helps, make sure to give a thumbs up, and yeah, hopefully this helped you make a decision on whether you get the camera or not. And yeah, cool. Catch you later.